I want you to try something for a second. It sounds, I don't know, incredibly simple, but if you actually do it, it feels weird.
Okay.
Trying to think about thinking.
It's a loop? It's almost like a glitch in the system.
It is, isn't it? It's like standing between two mirrors and seeing that, that infinite hallway of reflections just going on forever.
You get lost in there.
You really can. And looking at the stack of research we have today, that isn't just a fun little mental exercise. It's actually the root of the problem we're tackling. We are trapped in this world of illusions because we're so busy analyzing everything that we forget to actually live in it.
Alan Watts called this the central paradox of being human. We have this incredible tool, the analytical mind, which, it's built civilizations.
Right.
But as Watts pointed out, a person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. And eventually you just lose touch with reality entirely.
You're eating the menu instead of the dinner.
You're eating the menu.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. And that is exactly the mission for this deep dive. We have a stack of sources today that is, well, it's all over the place. We've got ancient Stoic philosophy, we've got Zen koans, but then we're smashing that together with modern sports psychology, Olympic athlete biographies, and even some counterintuitive parenting advice from Paul Graham.
It sounds like a strange mix, I know. But there is a single strong thread connecting every single one of these sources. It's the concept of presence.
Right.
And I want to be very clear up top. We aren't talking about the soft, just breathe and be happy kind of presence.
There's no incense burning today.
Exactly. This is about a ruthless, practical engagement with reality. How do we escape that trap of over-preparation, of over-analysis, and actually perform when it matters?
Whether that's on a soccer field, in a boardroom,
or raising a family.
So let's dive right into the trap itself, because before we can fix it, we have to see it. And the sources use this great analogy of a hammer to explain why our brains get in the way.
Right. It starts with the idea that thinking is just a tool. It's a technology we use.
Like a hammer.
Like a hammer. If you need to drive a nail, so if you need to solve a math problem or plan a logistics route, it's the perfect tool. You need that hammer. But if you're trying to perform surgery...
a hammer is a disaster. You're going to do a lot of damage.
Precisely. The problem isn't that we think, it's that we let the analytical mind become our entire existence. We try to think our way through situations that actually require feeling or sensing or just doing.
We hold the hammer 24/7, so everything starts to look like a nail.
We try to hammer our relationships, we try to hammer our anxieties, it just breaks things.
There's a story in the notes from Anthony DeMella that it nails this perfectly. It's a little absurd, but it really stuck with me.
Oh, the brick polishing one.
Yes. So there's this student sitting in meditation, and he is trying so hard to be Zen, right? He's got the posture, the serious face.
He's performing meditation.
Totally. And the master sits down nearby and just starts scraping a brick against the floor.
Just grinding it. Scrape, scrape.
It's so annoying. It's loud. Finally, the student just snaps. He breaks his pose, turns around and says, "Can't you see I'm in meditation? What are you doing?"
And the master calmly looks up and says, "I'm polishing this brick to make a mirror out of it."
Which is, physically impossible. You can't make a mirror from a brick. So the student says, "You're crazy. You can't do that."
And the master hits him with the punchline.
"No crazier than you. How can you make a meditator out of the self?"
That's the part that always trips people up. What does he mean by that?
Yeah, make a meditator out of the self.
He means the student wasn't actually meditating. He was thinking about meditating. He was monitoring his posture, checking his breath, evaluating his progress on some scorecard in his head.
Am I doing it right? Is this enlightenment yet?
Exactly. He was trapped in the illusion of preparation. And the sound of that brick was unbearable because it was reality breaking into his little thought bubble.
That distinction is so sharp. It's the difference between doing the thing and watching yourself do the thing.
Right.
It reminds me of when you're trying to sleep and you start thinking, okay, I need to sleep now. Am I asleep yet? How about now? And that, of course, guarantees you stay awake.
That's it, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
The sources call this the illusion of preparation. We do this constantly in modern work. We invent things to do. Organizing the desk, color coding the calendar, reading one more article.
Just to avoid doing the actual work.
Because the actual work is scary.
Yeah.
The actual work is the scraping of the brick. It's messy, it's loud, it might not work. Preparation feels safe, it feels controlled. You can't fail at making a to-do list.
But you can't think your way into presence. You have to just be there with the brick.
You have to drop the analysis.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate here for a second. If I stop thinking and planning, don't I just become reckless? I mean, if I'm an athlete, I can't just walk onto the field without a game plan.
That's a fair pushback. But the sources make a really important distinction between preparation before the event and analysis during the event.
All right.
And this is where we pivot to the physical side of things. If you overthink in a philosophy class, you get a headache. If you overthink in professional sports, you get crushed.
We have a great example in the stack from Lionel Messi. He's arguably the greatest soccer player ever, and he has this line that I think every overnight success story needs to hear.
Oh, it's a great one.
He said, "It took me 17 years and 114 days to become an overnight success."
It's perfect because it highlights the accumulation of action. He didn't spend those 17 years, sitting in a room visualizing success.
Right.
He spent them on the pitch, refining his instincts. He let his body learn what the mind couldn't hold.
And this leads us to a technical term in the research called appropriate arousal. When I first read that, I thought it just meant, getting hyped up, listening to loud music.
Right, slapping your chest.
Yeah. But it's more specific, isn't it?
Much more specific. In sports physiology, arousal is about your level of physiological activation, heart rate, adrenaline, muscle tension. And the source points out this common mistake in training, practicing skills in a state of low arousal that you'll need to execute in high arousal.
So, like, practicing corner kicks when you're just chatting with your friends, your heart rate is at 60. There's no pressure.
Right. And you're hitting the ball perfectly.
Yeah.
But in the 89th minute of a real game, your heart rate is 170, your legs are on fire, 50,000 people are screaming at you. If you've never practiced the kick under those conditions, you aren't actually prepared. You practice for a fantasy, not for reality.
So the advice in the source material is surprisingly brutal. It says you should do shuttle runs, sprints, before you take the practice kick.
Exactly. You have to simulate the fatigue. Because under-arousal makes you non-responsive, but it's over-arousal that's the real killer.
So what's actually happening during over-arousal? Why does it make us choke?
You try too hard. That's the simplest way to put it. You start using muscles you don't need, tensing your shoulders, clenching your jaw.
You start analyzing your mechanics in real time.
Yes. You gas out mentally because your brain is spinning faster than your body. The body has this innate intelligence that the mind just can't choreograph.
Yeah.
When you overthink, you interrupt that intelligence.
The notes list the 3 keys to winning in this context, where thinking is actually a liability.
Yeah.
1, transitioning from offense to defense. 2, winning loose balls. And 3, finishing effectively when you're fatigued.
Then get a loose ball in basketball or soccer.
Flipper.
It's pure chaos. It bounces weirdly, it's spinning. If you stop to calculate the trajectory or, weigh the risk-reward ratio,
The other guy already has it.
the other guy's already taken it. You have to be present to the chaos. You have to react before you can think.
And that third one, finishing when fatigued,
Yeah.
that kinks right back to the Messi point.
Yeah.
You can't think your way through exhaustion.
You cannot logic your way out of tired legs. Your brain is screaming, stop.
If you listen to that analytical mind, you quit.
You have to feel the reality of the fatigue and just move anyway.
It's about letting the body lead when the mind wants to bail out. This idea of letting the body lead actually bridges us into something I totally did not expect to find in this stack. We go from the World Cup to parenting.
Yeah, this is a fascinating turn in the research.
Usually when we talk about work and family, the whole conversation is about work-life balance. Separate them, build a wall.
Keep the stress of the office away from the kids.
Exactly. But the sources here, referencing Paul Graham and Ryan Holiday's Daily Dad, they argue that this might actually be a mistake.
It challenges the silo effect. We try to hide our work from our children because we think we're protecting them. We want to be just dad or just mom at home.
We think showing them our stress or our struggle is bad parenting.
Right. But Paul Graham argues that a parent who sets an example of loving their work, or at least respecting the effort of it, might help their kids more than a parent who just makes a ton of money and buys them an expensive house.
There's a Latin expression in the text that paints this picture perfectly. I'm going to try not to butcher it here. Above maiore deceit, aurere minor.
You got it. The younger ox learns to plow from the elder.
And the visual is the key here. They are not in separate fields. The baby ox isn't watching from the sidelines with an iPad.
No, they are harnessed together. That's the crucial detail. The younger ox learns the rhythm, the angle, how to push against the soil by by doing it alongside the elder.
Not by sitting in the barn listening to a lecture on plowing techniques.
Exactly.
So if we hide our struggle, our perseverance, our actual work from our kids.
Or giving them the sanitized result without the process. They see the food on the table, but they don't see the plowing. They see the vacation, but not the late nights that paid for it.
They need to see us present in the struggle.
They need to see how we handle frustration, how we push through fatigue, just like that athlete in the 89th minute.
Wow. That is such a powerful reframe. It's not about neglecting your kids for work. It's about letting them witness the reality of effort.
It's another form of presence. Being present in the work rather than wishing you were somewhere else.
But there is a danger to not being present, specifically when you start looking too far ahead. The notes call this the prevent defense.
Yeah.
And I know sports metaphors can get a little heavy, but this one applies to literally everyone.
It really does.
Yeah.
This is Tony Dungy's analogy. For anyone who doesn't follow American football, the prevent defense is a strategy teams use when they have a big lead late in the game.
They stop playing aggressively, they play soft, backing up just to prevent a big touchdown.
They switch from playing to win
to play not to lose.
And what happens? The other team marches down the field and scores. The leading team stops doing what got them the lead in the first place.
They stop being present to the game that is still being played.
They start living in a future where they've already won. They are mentally at the victory party, thinking about the trophy, and because they leave the present moment, they often lose the game in reality.
It's tragic. And the stack draws a parallel here to St. Paul, of all people. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race.
And the key phrase there is remaining faithful. In the context of our discussion, remaining faithful just means staying in the race until you actually cross the line.
It means not mentally checking out because you think you've made it.
Or conversely, because you think you've already lost.
And we have a crazy real-world example of this not checking out in the stack. Deanna Stellato-Dudek. Her story is, it's movie material.
It's incredible. Deanna was a figure skater, a prodigy. But she retired way back in 2001 because of injuries. She was done. The dream was dead.
So she moved on, built a totally normal life, became an esthetician.
Right. She's working in a salon. She's not on the ice. She's doing facials for over a decade.
But then at a work retreat, she's 32 years old at this point, someone asked the group a generic icebreaker question. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail?
And she doesn't say open my own salon or travel to Italy.
No, she blurts out, win a gold medal.
Yeah.
And she realized right then that she had unfinished business.
Now, bring in the analytical mind. The hammer comes down. Logic screams, you are 32. You haven't skated competitively in a decade. You're ancient in figure skating years.
People literally told her she was too old. They laughed at her. And her response,
she said, I can be too old in 6 years, too.
I love that. I can be too old in 6 years, too.
That is the ultimate presence. She refused to let the thought of too old, which is just an analysis, a label, stop the reality of I want to do this.
She didn't play the prevent defense on her own life.
She just didn't. She didn't try to protect herself from the embarrassment of trying.
And the result wasn't just, a participation trophy.
No. She became a world champion at age 40, the oldest woman to ever win that title. And she is aiming for the Olympics at 42.
That gives me chills. It connects right back to the brick polishing. She went back to the grind. She didn't let the gap in her resume define her reality. She just started scraping the brick again.
She treated her experience as leverage, not baggage. Most of us look at lost time and think, it's too late. That's the analytical mind trying to protect us from failure. Presence just says, I am here now. What can I do with this moment?
Okay, so we've talked about work, sports, skating. But the sources take a turn toward the ultimate reality check. The one thing you absolutely cannot think your way out of.
Mortality. Memento mori.
The dash.
It's a classic concept, but it bears repeating because we forget it every single day. On a tombstone, you have a birth date and a death date. But the only thing that actually represents your life is that little dash in between.
And the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius Seneca, they go so hard on this, they don't pull punches. Marcus Aurelius has this diagnostic question.
Am I afraid of death because I won't be able to do this anymore?
It's a brutal question. If you're doing something right now, let's say you're doom scrolling on your phone or worrying about a meeting that hasn't happened yet, and you ask yourself, would I miss doing this if I died right now?
If the answer is no,
then you aren't really living. You're just passing time. You are effectively already dead in that moment because you aren't present to it. You aren't inhabiting the dash.
Seneca puts it even more bluntly. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a living man.
And Mark Twain adds to that, saying the fear of death follows the fear of life.
This is the profound paradox. If you are fully present, fully engaged, like Deanna skating at 40 or the ox plowing the field, death is just the punctuation at the end of the sentence. It completes the meaning.
But if you've been saving your life,
If you've been hoarding it, analyzing it, playing the prevent defense, then death is terrifying because you realize you haven't actually used the life yet. You're still waiting to start living.
Ernest Hemingway had a cynical but probably accurate take on this with money. He said the fear of death increases in proportion to wealth.
Because the more you accumulate money, status, possessions, the more thoughts you have to lose. You become attached to the illusion of your life, the structure you've built, rather than the living of it.
You become the museum curator of your own existence rather than the artist.
Well said. There's that African proverb in the notes that sums this up. A beautiful coffin doesn't make anyone wish for death.
Precisely. We spend so much time building the coffin, the resume, the legacy, the bank account, that we forget to actually breathe. The call to action here is to live life day by night. Don't rush toward death by rushing through your moments.
It brings us back to that idea that we don't own the land, we belong to it.
The land does not belong to you. It is you who belongs to this land.
It's a reminder that we are part of reality, not separate observers of it. When we die, the biology is clear. The blood returns to the sea, the body returns to the soil. We are part of the process. We aren't the directors of the movie. We're actors in the scene.
So if we strip away all of the philosophy and the sports stats, what does this all mean for you listening right now? We've covered a lot. The hammer, the brick, the oxen, the skater. How do we take this into tomorrow morning?
It boils down to a Latin phrase found in the text. Fac, si facis.
Do it if you're going to do it.
Stop the analysis paralysis. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect mood, or the perfect plan. The younger ox didn't learn to plow by reading a manual.
Deanna Stellato-Dudek didn't win a gold medal by thinking about how old she was.
And Les Brown sums it up perfectly. All you can do is all you can do, but all you can do is enough.
That's the key word, enough. The analytical mind always says it's not enough. It says you need more preparation, more data, more assurance.
Reality just says, show up with what you have. That is enough.
I can't stop thinking about that brick scraping on the floor from the beginning of our deep dive. The noise isn't the problem. The problem is the illusion that we can block it out.
The noise is reality. The feedback is reality. The fatigue is reality. You have to let it in. You can't meditate around the noise. You have to find the silence in the noise.
So here's something for you to chew on as you go about your day. What unfinished business is calling you? What is that thing like Deanna's gold medal that you've convinced yourself is too late or too crazy or too hard?
And are you willing to start today, right now, even if you do it imperfectly, even if you're out of shape, even if you're scared, even if you don't have the hammer?
Because the brick is going to keep scraping whether you like it or not. You might as well try and make a mirror out of it.
Beautifully said.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening. Go make your dash count.